in their performances. And to quote one Marcus Brownlee or MKBHD, who says that cheap smartphones are getting better. Now, the budget and mid-range line of smartphones is probably what is easily accessible to most of us. The flagship market is constantly evolving and getting more and more inaccessible due to its price tag. But here in the mid-range, we are seeing some of those things that were in flagships 2-3 years ago now coming to the mid-range and just giving us an overall best smartphone experience. Welcome to the Oppo Reno8 T 5G official review. I am Double A and this is Tracks and Tech, and in this video I'm going to give you 3 parameters of which I have tested this phone and why I will always recommend the Oppo Reno8 T 5G as a constant mid-ranger that performs just as good as flagships that we have in the market. So these 3 parameters are: 1, the build quality; 2, the battery and performance; and lastly, the cameras. So sit back, relax, remember to like and subscribe onto our channel, ding that notification bell so that when we post any video about tech or these animals you see beside me, aka the trucks, then you are able to be the first to get this news. Let's roll on the Oppo Reno8 T 5G review. Welcome. The Oppo Reno8 T 5G is a very interesting smartphone. It comes as a refresher, not as a replacement to the Oppo Reno8 5G and Oppo Reno8 4G that we have in the market. Remember, there is a 4G variant which I don't have, I've not tested it, so this video we shall focus on this animal that we have here. Let's talk about the build quality. It is an all plastic build, as you will see in a short while. It has a plastic, or what we call polycarbonate back, with a plastic glossy frame, so that's why I'm using this TPU case that was included in the box to keep it fresh and keep and preserve this looks. Now my Reno8 T 5G is in the shimmer, the sunrise gold, I beg your pardon, the sunrise gold version, and there's also a black one that if you want you can always get it. Now the build is plastic, but it doesn't make it cheap. Why? Is because of this huge ginormous 6.7-inch AMOLED display that is curved. Now this is a feature that we started seeing in flagships as early as 2018, 2019, but now they are making its way into the mid-range. Now it makes this phone surprisingly very thin, despite it having this huge behemoth of a screen at 6.7 inches. The screen is 120 Hz refresh rate. As you can see on the swiping, it is very responsive whenever I am typing or doing anything on the phone. It's very, very responsive. It's very easy to operate. Now this phone also comes with the Color OS 13 and on top of Android 13 that Oppo have put on the phone from the word go. We know that there's some manufacturers who are still having phones being released into the market with Android 12, but Oppo have decided to go fresh with Android 13. Now my overall experience is that this is my first phone that has a curved display, and I'm digging this look because it's very easy to operate on the hand. You don't feel like you're struggling. I can operate it with one hand because everything is there. It has an under display fingerprint reader because of it being an AMOLED display. That also makes the contrast and the colors to appear very dark and accurate. You can always tweak the appearance of what you want on the screen just by going to display here on the settings, and then you can say screen color mode. I usually set it to natural because I prefer it that way, but there's also vivid that will give your phone a different look, or you can always manually tweak it the way you want it. I also prefer it to be at the middle. I don't want it cooler or warmer, I just want it balanced. In addition to that, there are very many other things that you can see, like for instance, you can see I set my eye comfort so that it prevents my eyes to from that blue radiation. Now this phone is also Widevine L1 certification, and this basically means it has a HD screen, a full HD screen, and that also means that you also get to watch HD content on Netflix and Amazon Prime, which is a plus for this generation. So it's an overall nice. For when it comes to build and design, I'll probably give it a 8.5 out of 10. Now, the battery. This phone has a 4,800 milliamperes per hour size battery. This is a behemoth of a battery. I mean, I charged it in the morning and left my house at about 5:45 in the morning. And a few hours later, almost actually 4 hours later, I am at 90%, as you will see in a short while. I'm at 90%. It is very, very efficient in terms of its battery. It probably takes me through the entire day, and I get home. On days that I'm doing heavy editing or I'm doing, just light work, I'll get home with between 60 to about 40 to 60% in that ratio. Now, to juice it up, also Oppo have included a 67 watt SuperVOOC charger in the box, and USB Type-C cable, which we can definitely use to power it. It takes about 40 to 44 minutes. My test so far, because I haven't drained it completely, probably would fall within the tested parameter of 44 minutes, but I believe within 40 to 44 minutes your battery should juice up from 0 to 100%. So I mean, if you're looking for a phone that has long life battery, then this is probably one of those phones that I would give. Something to just add on the battery is that there are different modes to operate it. You can check your screen on time. For me, I rarely use the power save mode because I don't really need to use it, because my phone will probably last a day and a half if I don't even put it on charge. So when it comes to battery, I'll give it a solid 9 out of 10. On performance, this phone is equipped by a Qualcomm Snapdragon 695 5G chipset. Now, this is not a flagship grade chipset. It is a mid-range chipset actually. But despite it being a mid-range chipset, it brings two things to this phone that I have noticed from the time I got this phone. Number one, it brings the aspect of power efficiency. Part of the reason why we're enjoying great battery life on this phone is because of the Snapdragon 695, because it's fabricated on a 6nm process. This basically makes it one of the most power efficient in the Snapdragon 600 series. Number two, your multitasking, your day-to-day. For instance, if you see how I scroll, I have quite a number of apps open, and none of these apps have closed. So for instance, I can switch to, from Twitter, which I was on, I can simply scroll up and go to, the Bible or lyrics or something. I can go to easily to multitask, because this phone is equipped with a chipset that can actually perform that well. Now, while one of those ways we test the gaming, we test performance is through gaming, and I've been using and learning Call of Duty Mobile through this phone, and what I can say is that I have played Call of Duty Mobile, which you will see in a short while. I've actually played Call of Duty Mobile at high frame rates and high graphics, and the performance does not lag. That is surprising me. So I'm just gonna show you my screen for that one, so that you're able to see for yourself how effective in terms of performance this chipset is. It's very fast when it's not the fastest when it comes to loading of the game, because Call of Duty is a very resource intensive game, so I probably give it some time to just do the things it's supposed to do in the background. But in a short while I'm going to show you my frame rates and how the gameplay is and how I've been enjoying this game. So there's quite a number of ads baked into the game, which is normal. So here we go. I'll just show you my audio and graphics. You see, I've set the graphic quality to high and the frame rate to high, and this phone does not lag whatsoever, no matter how long I play this game. Of course, since we're doing a review, it's not a gaming review. I'm going to show you, probably do a gaming review once later. So when it comes to performance, this I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10, and I'll explain why 7.5 in a short while. Cameras. This Oppo Reno 8, the Reno series has always been camera centric from the time the Reno was launched, and the Oppo Reno8 T 5G is not any different from this. We have a primary 108 megapixels camera. Now, just a disclaimer, the bigger the megapixels count is not a guarantee of great photos, because there are three things that will come into play when it comes to quality photos from your phone. Number one is how much light the lens lets in. Number two you as the user, how well do you know how to take photos? And 3, the image signal processor that is embedded in the chipset that powers your phone. So here is where the Snapdragon 695 5G still produces quality images, and I will just show you a sample in a short while. So if I look at some of these images that I've taken, especially this is just today morning, these are images I've taken with the Oppo Reno8 T 5G of my trucks here at the showroom. Very nice looking 12 megapixels images, because the 108 megapixel sensor has what we call 9-in-1 pixel binning. Basically, it combines 9 pixels into one. So when you divide 108 by 9, you get 12. So this is basically 12 megapixels camera. Now, it doesn't mean that I haven't taken 108 megapixel cameras, pictures, I beg your pardon. I've taken full 108 megapixels pictures, and there's no much difference when it comes to its quality. It is still a solid device. The only thing that you gain extra from this is extra size on on your phone, because these pictures are extremely huge. Some of them have sizes up to 30 MB. So it's up to you to choose. The selfies are equally good. I've taken a couple of selfies with a Reno8 32 megapixels Sony IMX709 camera. This is the third time we're using a phone that has this lens, and it is a reliable as long as you know how you get your light distance very well, but it's very, very effective. Now, where the Snapdragon 695 begins to fall short is when it comes to video, because this phone, no matter how much you try, it cannot shoot in 4K. Now, the 1080p videos are not bad. They are excellent because they have, this phone has been made for that. So the 1080 at 30 FPS videos are really good. And this is just a sample of our force leaving us. This force was going back to base. So this is a video that I recorded yesterday, and it is actually, crisp enough. It has great sound quality, but the only drawback with this chipset is that it does not allow 4K recording. So when it comes to camera, because of the lack of 4K, that 7.5, remember the other side, still maintains here a 7.5 out of 10. Conclusion. Now, would I recommend this phone? Of course, yes. It brings a balance. Battery life, excellent. Curved 6.7-inch display with 120 Hz fast refresh rate, excellent. 360 Hz touch sampling rate, excellent. It has stereo speakers. Just take a listen. I'm gonna block the lower grill. It still does the job. So when it comes to sound quality, this phone does not take prisoners. It does its job. It has quality, rich sound. The bass is there, the mid-tones are there. You can hear the vocals very clearly. The battery life is excellent. And an overall experience of Color OS 13 on top of Android 13. And lastly, the 108 megapixels. Sorry, I didn't tell you, we have two other lenses which we are still testing. There's a 40 times microscope camera and a 2 megapixels depth sensor, which my friend Dan always knows is a camera added there to bump on the numbers, but it helps really much in terms of portraits, pictures. But my phone has the 8 plus 8 GB, so 8 GB plus 8 virtual RAM, 8 GB virtual RAM. So I have 16 GB of RAM with 256 GB of UFS 2.2 storage. It's not the fastest because currently we have phones at UFS 4.0. We have some phones at UFS 3.1, but it's still not a problem. This phone is a solid, capable performer that can be a daily driver, whether it is you want to create content, whether it is you want to use it to consume content. And lastly, if you're just looking for a phone with a curved display, Oppo Reno8 T 5G is definitely one of those phones that you can get. My name is Double A, and this has been the Oppo Reno8 T 5G review, and I will catch you in the next phone review. See ya.